So I gotta give a big shout out and congratulations to IDW Sonic comic for reaching 50 issues. Yes, a lot of people, like with the Archie book, thought it wouldn't reach 50, but yet here we are, and it's on the verge of probably hitting 100, if that does indeed happen, depending on the state of the comic book industry and mostly the state of IDW right now, as many people have pointed out from information they've gotten from the inside of IDW and other insider comic book sources and publications and insiders and stuff like that. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Megabeatman did his review on the 50th issue, and the one thing he pointed out towards the end is the difference between it and the Archie Sonic road to issue 50 was Archie Sonic had an influx of different writers that never really kept communication very well between them. You know, they would not share notes or compare notes, you know, so that, you know, nobody was out in a loop, which obviously was not the case because everybody was out in a loop. But it wasn't until Ken Penders, when he didn't go off the rails, according to a lot of folks, came on board and said, or came back on board and said, we got to get back on track. And that is why the road to issue 50 for the months leading up to it was more consistent. It felt more in tone to, you know, what stories need to be like if you're heading to a milestone issue. Megabeatman made this comparison because IDW only has to rely on 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most writers, and those 2 or 3, 2 of them being Ian Flynn and Evan Stanley, have made sure to keep contact with each other, have made sure to compare notes and make sure nobody, or either one of them I should say, is out on the loop. So yes, I do agree with Megabeatman that the credit goes there of making sure that the consistency, you know, sharing notes, comparing notes and everything is done correctly. However, if there's one thing I think a lot of people will agree, and Megabeatman kind of alluded to this in his review, is that when you compare both milestone issues, End Game had the bigger impact. It really did. Now, yes, you have to read up to that point all the issues up to that point, including the Imposter Syndrome miniseries, to really get a context of what you're getting with issue 50. So yes, the continuity, streamline wise, was a little better because, like I said, there was only a few writers. But impactful wise, I think if you look at impactful wise, Archie's End Game issue 50 had more of an impact than this one. Yes, in this one, in IDW's 50th issue, it does imply that Sterline, Dr. Sterline, might be dead. Or is it Sterline or Starline? Dr. Sterline, you know, he might be dead. He might have died. But it also hinted at the fact that he was basically losing it, a la Eggman, Robotnik, you know, building up to issue 200. So whether or not Sterline is alive after this, you know, going into future issues, we'll have to see. Now, if he is alive, I will say this: he's going to be positioned. If one thing I can give credit to Ian Flynn and Evan Stanley on, if I can give them credit on anything, is they know how to take a character like a Sterline, whatever you want to call him, and you know, basically build them up to where they'll be more dangerous than they've ever been, especially if they're on the verge of insanity, just like Ian Flynn did with Eggman after his brief bout with insanity in the Archie books. Because remember, while he was in that padded cell in New Mobotropolis, that's when he started, even in his insanity state, that being Eggman, he started to piece, you know, a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together as to why Sonic was always able to defeat him, to finally, when he pieced that final piece of the puzzle, you know, together and got the complete picture, was he able to regain his sanity, but he ended up becoming more threatening. I mean, that image where you have Snively going down to the cell just because he wants to mock Eggman because it makes him feel so tall and everything, because Eggman's now, in his mind, he's not aware of it just yet until he sees him. He still thinks Eggman is now just a, you know, groveling, you know, ball of mush that he can just mock and feel tall about and everything. But then when he sees Eggman say hello to him and you see him in that threatening manner, you know, that's when Snively basically not only does he get scared, but you could tell just as Eggman's talking to him, and even before Eggman's talking to him, that Snively's getting that realization that, oh crap, now I gotta go back to being a freaking lackey again to this guy potentially, because now he's got his sanity back. And he might be more dangerous than ever. And I can see them doing that with Sterling, if you will, in future issues if he did survive. That we could see him come back more dangerous than ever and basically be able to, during his sabbatical, put the pieces of the puzzle together and realize, okay, this is why Eggman has never really truly taken out his enemies, because he doesn't, do this or that. So I could see them doing something like that if the character is alive, because that's what they did with Eggman. Now, again though, the thing is, when you compare the two from an aftermath story impact, IDW is still kind of on the fence, because we know Surge is coming back. She's going to go one-on-one with Whisper. How that outcome occurs is anybody's guess. But what I'm looking at is Surge, I believe, is going to have a story arc. I think her encounter with Sonic and everything, and her taking what he said about, being your own person, free and all that, and twisting it. I think over time they're going to build her character. If the comic continues for quite some time, they're going to build a storyline around her to where she's going to start to, understand what Sonic has been truly trying to tell her. Like, it's not the way you believe it is. It's this way. So I can see potentially over time a redemption arc for her, where she basically slowly, starts to realize that, she's not meant to be this way, she's meant to be this way. Or if she wants to be the way she is, she also has this other side of her that could be helpful and everything. Basically, like I said, I think we're going to get a redemption arc with her down the line, and it's going to be done in a unique way. A very unique way, to where she'll still be herself, but she's going to team up with her friend, what's his name, Kit, or Kin, whatever his name is, and he's going to help her basically kind of see things the right way. Like, he's going to be with Sonic, he's going to be with Tails, and they're going to help him realize the rights and the wrongs, and then he's going to eventually pass that on to Surge. So I could see him playing a part in Surge's redemption. Maybe there's going to be something to where he potentially almost sacrifices himself to protect her, and then that's going to help open her eyes up of, he does care about her, he does see her as a friend, and that maybe there is truth to what Sonic was telling her. Again, like I said, that's just mere speculation, but the way they left it off, it definitely looks like that's the direction we're heading in very, very soon. And I think it's all going to begin when she encounters Whisper and so on. But yeah, the aftermath of the IDW's 50th issue of Sonic, that's up in the air, but I can kind of see potentially several directions are going in, with Starline reappearing soon, Surge's potential redemption and everything. I can see a lot of stuff happening. But again, the aftermath, the effect it's going to have on the story and the book as a whole, again, it's up to whatever Ian Flynn and Van Stanley decide to follow up on, because when you look at the Archie book, with you like Ken Penders and some of the writers afterwards, on that book at the time, they did do a decent job to show the impact, to show the acknowledgement in the aftermath of what happened, with End Game. And, how they were able to build from that, how they were able to, move on and grow from that. And even up to the end. Well, I wouldn't say up to the original end. Not the original, but up to its end of the original continuity, even into the Mecha Sally arc, if you will. They did acknowledge the impact and touch upon the impact that the End Game story had. So yeah, if there's one thing that you can say goes in the Archie Sonic's favor, it's the impact was still felt even 200 plus issues later. well, not 200 plus issues later, but almost 200 something, plus issues later. It was still felt before they did the whole retcon reboot. Again, IDWs, that's still up in the air, but it looks like potentially we're going to get, some ramifications down the line, which again, if they go into directions I think they're going to go in, is going to make the book very, very interesting, more so than it's ever been. As a matter of fact, those that have been reluctant to read the book because it's not Archie, it doesn't have the Freedom Fighters, I guarantee you, if the aftermath effects of this 50th issue are felt later on, like I believe they will be with Starline and Surge and all that, that will get people's attention. That will get people's attention to tune in and see exactly, what's in store as far as the story is concerned and the characters involved. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here first of all, and again, give a shout out and a congrats to IDW Comics for reaching 50th issues with Sonic, and also just give my own comparisons, like Megabeatman kind of did, on the difference between the two 50th issue milestones and the impact, the aftermath one had after its initial milestone 50th issue, and potentially where the aftermath and effects of the IDW book could go after its 50th issue. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys, down below. Comment if you like. Love to hear from each and every one of you. Live chat during the premiere. Super thanks will be enabled after the premiere. Super chats and super stickers, as always, will be opened and available and appreciated during the live chat, during this premiere and the future premieres. But again, guys, I just wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts on it, and kind of speculate, like I'm sure a lot of you are, on the direction and what the ramifications and stuff will be storyline wise afterwards for IDW's Sonic book compared to the aftermath and ramifications we got with Archie's Sonic book after its 50th issue. So again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below.